I'm Liz. I'm at Nanoose Edibles Farm and I thought I'd give you a tour of what's happening in the summer. So it's 23 acres. It's owned by Barb and Lauren Ebel, who bought the place in their 60s, and that was about 30 years ago. So they have lots of workers at the farm. So we are in their orchard, and this is a quince tree, and quince are hard, it's basically like a cross between a pear and an apple, except they're very hard and they need to be cooked. They're loaded with pectin, so you can cook them with like chicken and lamb, or you can make jams and jellies out of them. They also make really good membroja. So I'm in their apple orchard. They have a variety of heritage apples, and their whole property, it's 23 acres, so it's surrounded by an electric fence for the deer and the rabbit. I mean, they still get in, but it does help. And yeah, they have lots of heritage apples. So because Nanoose Edibles is so diverse, it does also have blueberries. So they have blueberries, apples, they have got black currants, raspberries, strawberries, as well as things like beets and fennel and kohlrabi and all those stuff. So blueberries are a huge popular item because they are certified organic, and yeah, they have quite a lot of blueberries. So to keep up with the pollination, they do have a couple different hives, and they don't produce honey. They don't collect the honey from it. They're just for pollination. And so they place them in different areas of the farm so they can keep pollinating. So we're in the prop house, and this is where all these plants are started to be seeded. Majority of them are seeded indoors and then transplanted outdoors. With the hot weather, we've been seeding a lot more inside and then transplanting it outside, just to make sure that the crop is actually taking, because we're having a really hard time with germination this summer. So I'm in the greenhouse, and this is where the tomatoes are, and we plant basil in between the tomatoes. So at the farm they plant a lot of heirloom tomatoes. Tomatoes here are really popular with restaurants. They love the dark colors with chefs because they have so much flavor, because they're an heirloom variety, and they're really quite delicious. So here's a view from one area of the farm. We got a lot of stuff planted. We're trying to move everything up closer because of the lack of rain, so we're not planting so far in the backfields. And this is the garlic. We have a big fan blowing because we don't want to cook the garlic. We just want it to dry out. Whole thing rotates, so in the winter time we can use it and put crops in here and cut them, and then in the summertime we can use it to dry out garlic or other different things that we want to keep for seed. So this is the strawberry patch. It's quite big. I'm not too sure how many rows they have in it, maybe 15, and this year they're having a bit of a struggle just because it's so hot. What we're looking for is flowering. Once they start flowering, the bees start pollinating it, then they'll start producing more fruit. That's a good one. So this is the Marionberry patch, and Marionberries are kind of like a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry looking. I don't find them as sweet, but apparently when you freeze them, then they produce a lot more sugars. So this is one of the back fields, and what we're producing, some broccoli, some onions, carrots. This is kind of more of our root cellar garden. We have cabbage back there as well, and definitely this is as far as our field can go, because if you look back there is a mobile chicken coop, but there's nothing planted around there. Last year we had a lot of things planted around there. but because of the hot weather this year, we've decided not to plant so far out to try to conserve our water, because we're even struggling just to water the plants that we have right now. So we grow a lot of varieties of different things. This one's an eggplant. You can see the big eggplant there. This one is a different variety where it's producing these nice purple flowers. Look underneath. There is this purplish eggplant. Alright, over here we have peppers. And this is a black pepper, or purple pepper. And that's just the types of varieties we grow. There's green ones. Green ones are unripe peppers. So they'll turn yellow or red or whatever they ought to be. And that's why green peppers are a lot cheaper in grocery stores, because they're unripe peppers. Okay, so I'm in the cabbage patch. And it's actually cabbage and broccoli we have going on here. Several different types of cabbage going on. We are being hit with a lot of aphids and flea beetle, and also because of the hot weather, of course, the cabbage is slowly, some of them are wanting to go to seed right away, so they're not producing actual cabbage heads. So that's another issue that's happening this year. So you're able to see all the aphids on here. They're just little crawling things. Usually this gets washed away with the rain, but because of the lack of rain, they multiplied. And we're using drip irrigation system, so it's just a hose with a little bit of a slit, and the water comes out just on the plant, but that doesn't help with the aphids. And then we're getting this problem where it gets way too hot and it's just wanting to go to seed. So it's actually not producing a head or filling out. And so that's another thing that, yes, the hot weather is nice, but definitely not for crops, and we'll have to replant it, or cabbage takes quite some time depending on the type of cabbage. So for the summer we'll probably have to do like fall or winter cabbage. So this is a Savoy cabbage. They're really, really nice and really, really crinkly. They'll form a bigger head, obviously, but they take I think it's 100 to 120 days. So definitely got to have some ground space to keep these into the ground long enough for you able to get a cabbage, but definitely very, very nice. So I'm in the patch of collards. Collards are really good for you. They got lots of calcium in them, and this year we are kind of struggling with them. They got attacked by the aphids and then by the flea beetle, and we kind of left them alone, and now they're huge and flourishing. And yeah, a lot of people use them for wraps, or you can, I like to just saute them with like onions and garlic and some mushrooms, and they crisp up really nice. And yeah, they're quite nice this year. Last year we actually had a problem with them germinating, so we didn't have as many collards as we are probably going to have this. So I'm in the Brussels sprout patch. These probably should have gone in a lot earlier. I mean, everything should have gone a lot earlier, it just didn't really happen. But these guys have gone in, and Brussels sprouts are a form of a brassica, so they are heavy nitrogen feeders, and they'll produce Brussels sprouts hopefully. With the hot weather, they're not really liking it too much, but nothing you can really do. And so we put them in, it's July now, and so they'll be hopefully maybe November-ish, so they could take quite a long time. I mean, you're supposed to seed them in like May or something, so definitely got to have a lot of land to be able to grow certain things, just because they stay in the ground for so long. But you do get a really good return on them if they grow. So this is a Brussels sprout. This is just Brussels sprout, yeah, this is just a different kind compared to the purple one, and you can already see the little buds growing right here. So This is another crop that they grow, and this is beans. So we could do string beans as well as dried beans and soybeans. And yeah, there's some of them are coming up really sporadically, just like the ones over here, which they'll probably have to be replanted, and other ones just came up like boom, nothing. So this is celery, and it's kind of patchy, but yeah, it requires lots and lots of water, more than you normally think, because they are an ocean plant. So they live by the ocean and grow by the ocean, so that's why they have a lot of water in them, but definitely not the best crop to grow with our weather condition, but still really, really popular. And you can, take celery stalks off and make a bunch, or hopefully they'll get bigger and can actually cut them. So this is where all the water comes from for watering the plants. I believe it's like half an acre. Usually in the wintertime this is filled up to the top, and so right now it is quite low, and that's always a concern with farming, because the water levels, if you don't have enough water, I think one year Barb said that they had a truck in water, so that's not very good. Oh, there's 2 chicken coops. One's at the far back, and which is mobile. The older girls are back there, and then these are the chicks. They came in February, so they won't start producing until like 6 months from February, which they've escaped right now. So this is the chicken coop, and this is their water feed. They get it from the pond that goes through a filtration system before it comes out through over here. They're not producing yet, they're still a little bit tiny. Here's the roost, and that's where they perch at nighttime. They go asleep. That also helps to have things to perch on to strengthen up their claws. So I found out last year sunflower petals are actually edible. Some of them taste better than others, but yeah, you can actually eat the petals, and you can put them in your salad or just eat them raw. They look really pretty, or you can plate them. And over here is the sales center, and so you can come and buy produce right at the stand.